Guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here at Wesley Chapel Toyota, and guess what? I have a special 2021 model. This is a 2021 Toyota 4Runner. It's a limited trim, but guess what? It's a new edition called the Nightshade Edition. But before we get into this rugged SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So the 4Runner has been around for 5 generations, if you could believe that. It goes all the way back to 1984. We're in the 5th generation, and it seems that we're getting near the end of the road for this generation before a redesign is introduced. Now, the 4Runner has such a strong cult following, so strong that it is that they'll shank you if you talk negative about their 4Runner. This SUV is so unique that when you look at the competition, and there's been some new competitors added to the ring when it comes to this type of SUV, it still brings such a unique style, a unique personality, and definitely that undeniable reliability of the V6 underneath the hood of this 4Runner Limited. Now, when it comes to the 4Runner, many different ways to trim it out. This Limited is bringing in a lot of the amenities that you want to have as you're using it as your day-to-day SUV, but having that Nightshade Edition brings some extra touches that's going to separate you from the rest of the pack. So I want to find out, is it time for you to finally get off your butt? You've been talking about buying a 4Runner for years. You've been thinking about getting pre-owned, but you're saying to yourself, you know what? The prices are still so close. Is this the SUV to be buying in 2021? Let's go find out. Right off the bat, I love the midnight black color, especially with this being a Nightshade Edition, because guess what? Nightshade means a lot of the touches that they put are gonna be of a black accent variety. Now, when we start at the front of the business, remember, what we have new for 2021 are LED headlights. Think about it. This generation's been around for a few years now. It's nice to finally see that type of lighting technology. You still have the massive headlight housing, but the great news is it still has that unique look to it. And it's such a sweetheart, especially when you compare it to the front end of the other SUVs in this segment. Now, as we drop down, I'm really loving on the Nightshade, this dark chrome accent that actually goes across the whole center of the front fascia. You're gonna get your LED fog lamps down below. My only zonk, why have some of this fake vent here? Just keep it smooth. I think that would have been a lot better. And then another touch is the black chrome accent on each of the corners. It really kind of makes a cohesive look with the different black chrome accents that they have, puts it in a nice package. Now, as we come across the center, like I promised you, there's that dark chrome that goes all the way around the middle of the front end. You're gonna get a blacked out Toyota badge, which I think looks great, especially on the midnight black. Some more of that black chrome accent. Everything is functional. So you got a flat black on the grille, and I think I'm saying the term black a lot, but that's what this is. It's the Nightshade Edition. Full functionality in this lower area, and then a little bit of gunmetal metallic gray along that lower lip. But such a unique identity, such a rugged identity. This isn't like a crossover SUV. This is like body on frame, rugged SUV. Now, when we get up onto the hood, what you're gonna get with the Limited is you're actually gonna get a cleaner hood. The other trims, especially if you go TRD off-road, has that hood scoop that is non-functional, but on this Limited, nice smooth finish. You have a high body line that goes right towards the windshield, super clean from the top end of the business, but still very muscular, very aggressive from the front. Now, as we come around the bend, I love the way they have this nice flared fender, all color matched. And you can see just how far it comes off the fender there. And then as we drop down on the Nightshade Edition, you're gonna get these unique wheels and colors. So obviously Nightshade, you got a black 20-inch wheel. I like the split spoke design. You're gonna have 245 on the width and a 60 series sidewall, plenty of space between the top of the tire, inside the fender, and I love the way they kind of square it off. It just, from the front, from the side, you're not gonna confuse a 4Runner with any other vehicle. As we go down the side, you got your matching color on the mirror caps, LED lighting. I like the way they went black on all of the trim. So no shiny bright metal work. Up top, you're gonna get your flat black roof rails, and you have crossbars. So you could get that kayak holder, you could get a cargo basket. They give you the crossbars and the raised roof rails. The good news is they're not raised too high. As you can see, I'm stepping on these flat black running boards with the dark chrome finish along the bottom portion. I think the running boards are just enough, separates it from the more off-road rugged TRD Pro 4Runners, and still just gives it a great look. This is one of those vehicles, like I said, you could drive it every day, but if you need to go get a little rugged with it, you can. Working your way towards the rear, you have a limited badge, blacked out for the Nightshade Edition. I really love the rear pillar and how it separates the rear quarter glass from the passenger door. Great size on the window, great shape. Some would say it looks dated. I don't know. There's just something nostalgic about it that I really, really love, especially when we get to the driving experience, which I can't wait to share with you. The one thing I'm gonna zonk at the tail of the business, and I'm sure you probably already know what it is. If this is a Nightshade Edition, why do we have these bright chrome finishes up top? On the headlights, it wasn't so bad, but on the taillights, it just sticks out like a sore thumb a little too much. So it would have been nice to do some dark chrome finish to the interior of the headlight and the taillight, but especially the taillight housing. Now, what's great about the 4Runner that you can't do on just any SUV is it still has the power rear glass. So you could raise and lower the rear glass from behind or from behind the steering wheel. You have that signature low roof spoiler. I love the way they take the wiper and tuck everything up nice and clean. Cleans up that whole view. You got your blacked out 4Runner badge, blacked out Toyota badge, and then as we keep dropping down, you have some flat black bumper protection, of course your full tow capability, and then over on this side, you do have a single exhaust outlet, oval shape / cut, black tip to kind of blend it all in. But you know what? Let's go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering our 4Runner. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hydraulic hood struts. Very, very interesting engine cover in the fact that it looks like it almost has cup holders on it. So while you're like looking at your engine compartment, you could have your favorite beverage in that cup holder. Now underneath that very interesting engine cover is gonna be that tried and true 4-liter V6. So very large V6, 270 horsepower, 278 pound-feet of torque. The vehicle weighs 4,805 pounds. It is still mated to that bulletproof 5-speed automatic transmission. You could tow up to 5,000 pounds, MPG 17 in the city, 21 on the highway. And I really feel like this is gonna be the big separator. I know a lot of people wanna see changes, but one thing that's undeniable, like I mentioned earlier, is the reliability out of that Toyota V6. But why don't we fire it up and hear what it sounds like? All right guys, we're inside this 2021 4Runner Limited Nightshade Edition. And I'm sitting here and I'm rubbing my chin, just like you probably are watching this. And you're saying to yourself, Joe, I've been looking for a larger SUV. I didn't even know about this Nightshade Edition, but I'm liking it. Should I be buying this one? How much is it? So MSRP, the way that you see it optioned, is right at $48,000. Let's see what you get for the money to the door panels. You're gonna notice, like I said, that dated design, but the great news is you have this metallic dark black trim that actually does a pretty good job of hiding fingerprints. The soft touch material up top with the white contrast stitching, soft material on the armrest. You even have a Twinkie tray in the middle under the door handle. To me, that's smart engineering. Down below, you could get a big old bottle of Mountain Dew Code Zebra, and you actually could put a small personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut in that door pocket. Now, as you go from the door pocket to the dash, here's where things get a little bumpy. So it is hard material up top. I do like the texture though, but it's as hard as a rock. This brushed aluminum finish looks classy, and I wish they would have used this a little bit more. This though has been changed as of recent memory. You are gonna get still that Casio style LED clock. The great news is it's easy to read and it's easy to adjust, especially when we have to turn the clocks forward and back. You have the 8-inch infotainment system. We do have the JBL optional sound system. Apple CarPlay and all that goody technology is going to be in the system. You can see we have our navigation, which is great. You go to home, And it's easy to figure out, it's easy to use. There's that metallic gray finish, and I'm telling you, it really covers up the fingerprints well rather than just gloss black, or like some people like to say, piano black. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw it into reverse. There's our backup camera. It's a little grainy, I should say a lot grainy, and there's no trajectory, but it does fill up the whole 8-inch screen, which is great. Now you do have some silver on the knobs, and they feel really good when you make the volume louder or quieter. Start stop button. You are going to have your dual climate controls, and same thing with these controls. They feel really good to the touch. Simple to understand AC buttons. And then check this out. Talk about retrofitting. This has been retrofitted, as you can see, with heated and cooled seats. So you actually push and then you twist for hot or cool. I'm going to go cool because that's just me. And then you're going to have 12 volt. Don't stick your finger in it or anything else. And then you have a USB, plus you have another Twinkie tray here. So one Twinkie easily will fit in here. This will be your Skittle tray. Taste the rainbow, see the rainbow. You have a cup holder up front. This is going to control that 5-speed automatic. It's got that gated style, that older style. But hey, like I said, it's a little piece of a nostalgia. This area, you could easily put an Egg McMuffin or a fillet of fish. I don't know who eats those, but you could put one there. Another cup holder, which is great. There's your key fob. I'll be honest, I'm going to keep zonking them because it's on the cheap side. I mean, it feels like one of those retrofit 1990s car alarm buttons. But it is light and it is small, so it's not going to hurt you in your junk, which is good news. This is the switch to raise and lower that rear hatch glass. One of the only SUVs to still have that feature. Armrest is nice and high. Not very soft, but I do like the height of it, and the stitching is great. Open this up, you got a 12 volt, you got a coin holder, and you could simply just drop a box of Twinkies in there. Or if you know what, if you have a football, you could put a football in there. So if you're done playing with your ball, or your balls, you could put it in there. And then the seats. Love the material, the perforated all the way down the center. Easy to keep clean, they look good. And then of course you're gonna have your power adjustments on the side for the passenger. I get them over here on the driver. Standard size sunroof, and this headliner, it's taking me back, man. It looks like a headliner from 1999. It's almost like a shag carpet that's above your head. But hey, it is a lighter color, which is good, which kind of opens up, makes this a little brighter in here, especially with the sunroof. But why don't you get your butt over here? I'm closing this. Get your butt over here. I want to show you behind the wheel of our 4Runner Limited. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel of this 4Runner. There's those seat controls. Nice to have that on the Limited trim. Lower lumbar is fantastic. I got plenty of headroom in here, so if you don't have enough headroom, you must be the Jolly Green Giant, because there's plenty of room in here. Steering wheel, love the thickness. I'm not in love with the horn button, and it is dated. I mean, this is the dated controls, but they still work great. So, you know, you want it to look pretty, or do you want it to work great? I know we want both, but I don't know. It seems to work in here. And then the same thing with the gauges. Analog tach, speedometer, coolant, and fuel gauge, and then you have a small little digital display in there. You do have some safety features, which are nice, but other than that, you are going to have that classic layout. I do like the silver, and yes, the steering wheel is tilting and telescoping. Well, why don't we check out that back seat and see if your passengers are going to approve with me that this 4Runner is the one you need to buy. All right, guys, back seat time, and the good news is, you know what? I don't need a third row. If you don't need a third row, then why buy an SUV with a third row? It's nice just having the 2 rows. Maximize your space in the back, maximize your space here. The good news is you get the soft touch leather style material. This is gonna be easy to clean. I'm zonking the cargo net. Why these cargo nets? I feel like they'd be easy to rip, and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. Maybe it looks rugged, but I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But you do have your 2 rear AC vents, and they have you covered with 2 USBs. So we've been in some very high-end luxury SUVs that don't even have 1 USB, let alone 2. Seats are great. They don't slide, and they don't really recline much. You can a little bit, but the good news is you have this massive armrest, man, and it is as soft as can be. I want to figure out a way how to sleep back here and put my head on this, because it's actually softer than my pillow I have at home. 2 cup holders. Flap that guy back. Let's get to the cargo area, because I want to take this 4Runner for a spin. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, time to get into the back. Real simple. You're just going to hit the button under the end, and then you're going to have to use a little muscle. There's no electric assist or anything like that, but the great news is, look how low the floor is. Easy to get things in and out of, and a massive amount of space They even have you perfectly covered with a first aid kit, just in case you get injured at the campground. Maybe you're tailgating and you bite your finger on a hot dog or something. And then you're gonna have a home power source, your 12 volt. We have our subwoofer, our required JBL subwoofer, of course. And then I like the little trays they have back here for those emergency snacks. You could easily put, I would say, 4 Hostess cupcakes on each side. Those seats are gonna fold down, totally flat, complete. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, how much room are we looking at? You're looking at 47.2 cubic feet of space with the seats up. Fold the seats down, almost 90. It's 89.7 cubic feet of space. This is what makes this so versatile, and this is what makes it, compared to the competition, a winner because of the sheer amount of room. But why don't we go ahead? We talked about that 4-liter V6. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take this 4Runner Nightshade for a spin. All right, guys, we left Wesley Chapel Toyota. We're in the 4Runner Limited Nightshade Edition. Right away, I just love the vantage point. I love how the seats are so comfortable. Getting to that infotainment system is easy. I know there's lots of people who would say, well, Joe, many of the SUVs have more technology, and I'm not going to argue one bit with you on that. But there's just something so familiar that feels good about this 4Runner. The infotainment system, it is nice the way that it's integrated. Yes, it's 8 inches, but you know what? It seems like people are getting greedy. Like they need to have 14 inches and stuff. 8 inches will make a lot of people happy. I can promise you that. If you want bigger though, you're gonna have to go to a totally different SUV because this is the infotainment that we have. Now, what's really neat is you could change a lot of data in that center digital display. I actually have it on steering angle. So things that you're just not gonna find on some of the other SUVs in this category. So as we are driving down the road here, very smooth and very quiet, which is great. Steering has got the perfect feel to it. And I'm gonna go ahead and do some on throttle here as we come around this bend. On throttle, here we go. So that 5-speed drops down and you are off and running. Is it something that's gonna put you back in the seat? No. But the great news, like I said, you're gonna be able to put a ton of miles on this 4Runner and it's just gonna keep on ticking and not complain one bit, which is wonderful. But I'm telling you, these seats are great. The height of the armrest, the height of the door panel is perfect for resting your arms on top. You do have the sunroof. Would have been nice to have a panoramic sunroof, but I think that that's gonna be a piece of the puzzle for the redesign of the 4Runner. It's gonna be tough because the challenge is that you have these vehicles where people want a lot for the money. And it's nice to have that, but the challenge is that when it comes down to it, you are going to be giving up certain things. And that to me is where there's going to be issues. All right, guys, as we're driving onto the highway, on throttle, here we go. So, because it's a naturally aspirated V6, a very large V6, the power delivery is very linear, torque curve is very linear. It is gonna drink a little bit more fuel than the competition, but you know, there's just certain things that you gotta compromise. That's what a perfect relationship is all about, is you gotta compromise. And I think if you're willing to compromise on the fuel consumption, this 4Runner, especially the Limited, is gonna give you so much more back in return. But steering feel is great. You do have your lane keep assist. That's what that beeping was. So you are gonna get some of that great Toyota sensing technology to keep you and your family safe. And it's comfortable, it's spacious, it's just different. I think that's the bottom line, is that so many of the SUVs look identical to one another, and it's just nice to have something that is so unique and stands out so much. All right, guys, time to make a U-turn here. Obviously, people just rolling on out, but that's typical Florida. We're making a U-turn, and easy peasy, lemon squeezy in this vehicle. Side mirrors are great. I mean, the great news is with this generation, it's been around for so long that really they've ironed out all the details of the locations of the switchgear, all of the different controls, the space. So it's nice to have that finished product, because I'm telling you right now, there is going to be a redesign on this, but who knows what direction they're going to go in and if you're going to like it. So if you've been, like I said, if you've been sitting waiting for this perfect reason to get a 4Runner, whether it's this limited, a TRD off-road, a TRD off-road pro, this might be the perfect chance. This might be the only chance, because if they switch it, you may not like what they switch it to. But we're going to go ahead, get back to Wesley Chapel Toyota and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day here at Wesley Chapel Toyota. I definitely got to thank Ness, Scooter, the whole crew, getting us access to this 2021 4Runner Limited Nightshade. I don't know. I really love the unique personality. I'm all about feeling when it comes to driving, and we've driven a lot of SUVs on Rady's Rides, but there's just something so undeniable about how this 4Runner behaves when you're driving it on the road, that naturally aspirated V6. And you know what? Peace of mind that you can keep racking on the miles and it holds its value like a champ. I think this would be one of the ones. I would go TRD Pro off-road, but if I was looking for something a little bit more streetable, this is really checking off a lot of boxes, at least for me. But if you want to keep seeing these types of SUVs on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. That's what that means. Leave the comments. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. That's what that means. Hit the subscribe button. I promise you want to come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to thank the queen of the camera. She got every angle of this spot on the money. And guess what? This car was filthy. She cleaned the whole thing down, did a spectacular job. Show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.